I stayed in the worst. Oh my God. So yesterday I stayed in Birmingham, Alabama. Yeah. Oh, dude. So I don't try to flex my like poverty roots because I don't really have them, but my father does. And now I think because of like visiting my grandmother and stuff like that, when I see poor places in bad neighborhoods, I swear to God, I'm just like, this isn't even a bad neighborhood. This doesn't seem bad. Compton, I've only seen it in video, but I'm like, Compton doesn't even, these look nice compared to Gloucester and Camden, New Jersey. And Birmingham, I got there and I smelled the poverty. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a memory from my childhood. This is what poor smells like. And I rented I was like, oh, a motel. Cool. My dumbass. And it's a Motel 8, I think, or Motel. So I think it's really called a Motel 8 and like a something else 6, but they switched them. So it wasn't the franchise, but they fooled me. So I'm like, oh, if it's a franchise, they have to meet.
Welcome to Motel 7.5.
Yeah. A franchise, if people don't know, has to meet certain standards or they will pull away your franchise license. So if you ever stay at not the Knights Inn, but like the Round Table Inn, then you know that place didn't meet the Knights Inn.
Welcome to King Arthur's Court.
Yeah.
What is formerly Courtyard Marriott? Yeah.
Yeah. So I go there and the room was $62 after all the taxes and fees.
Damn.
And it reeks of cigarettes. And it's just a bed and like a side table. There's nothing else there. I asked if one of the rooms had better Wi-Fi, and they're like, there's no Wi-Fi here.
There's no Wi-Fi.
There is no Wi-Fi here.
So I figure, all right, I'll tether off my phone. I'm 2 hours into it, and the cigarette smell is so overwhelming. I'm like, fuck it. This is even below my standards. So I got a better room for the rest of the night. Yeah, but Birmingham, Alabama has legit like on the way from my motel to the other place, there was some sort of crime that warranted 6 police officers jackknifed in their cars, like blocking all the streets. I'm like, is this a murder? Like they're preventing people from getting to the crime scene. Dude, that is not far from the room I stayed in.
All right, that's pretty.
And there were like cigarette burns.
I mean, for you to turn a hotel room down is brutal because you've stayed in some shitholes.
I swear it was legit.
Yeah, Birmingham's rough. Alabama's rough.
It's very poor.
Yeah, like Georgia has a lot of money that flows in. We're right next door, but Georgia has a ton of money that flows into it from a number of things, like the movie industry notwithstanding. But fucking Alabama's poor as shit. It just.
Does Georgia have a rivalry with Alabama and more than just sports teams? Is it like those fuckers over there, Alabama? Nothing like we're better. Like Georgia.
No, it's not like it's just football that they're good at. It's their only thing. Like what else do they do? You know, Georgia's the Peach State. We're also the #1 producer of granite in the world. We're very proud of that.
I didn't know that.
What do they do in Alabama? What do they do in Alabama?
I bet they do stuff.
What's their main export of Alabama? Retardation?
I don't know. I was gonna say along those lines.
Babies with skulls that are malformed.
Could Georgia hang in the incest bowl?
All right, Alabama's top exports.
The GDP is probably identical to Georgia's, by the way. I'm just fucking with them.
mid-sized automobiles, piston engines, large automobile. It's a lot of piston stuff.
I'm guessing.
Isn't Huntsville, Alabama, like a major space station?
Oh, that's yeah.
Coal they do a lot of, I guess. Chemical wood pulp soda. Can't get it.
That's where you go to space camp in Alabama down there. Yeah, like if you go to space camp, that's where it is.
It's a lot of car stuff, really.
Well, it's in Alabama. Like I think down there around Huntsville, where they used to have the original like NASA shit that we saw in Once for All Mankind, that show.
What is Alabama known for? Hospitality and the history of civil rights struggles.
That's one of the things they're bad at.
That feels like an uncharitable interpretation. Alabama and Mississippi constantly being ridiculed.
They couldn't choose 2 positives. Like
from the general American perspective, and maybe Woody feels the same way. Like the reason that I am like friends with Kyle is the reason that I like hold Georgia now in like a higher esteem than like Mississippi and Alabama. Because before I was just like, oh yeah, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, that's all kind of the same shit down there. And then Florida's its own thing. You know, they're not really the South. It's like snowbirds and people. But yeah, you've single-handed, you're a good representative for Georgia. You've single-handedly raised their caste in my eyes.
Georgia's a nice place. Okay, like you can. Raphael Warnock, our senator, just defeated his retarded opponent.
Two-sport athlete.
Stupid.
Yeah. I don't know if I told you guys they came to my house. The Raphael Warnock people. They're trying to get my vote, and these two gals, and you know it was noon, so I was asleep, fucking dead to the world. And they start pounding on the goddamn door, and now the dog's losing his shit, and I'm trying to hush him. And I figured that whoever was at the door would have left by the time I got to it anyway. But there they are. And we want to see if you're going to vote for Raphael Warnock in the upcoming election. I'm like, I'm a felon. I'm a felon.
I murdered solicitors.
This is Atlanta. We get a lot of that here.
I changed the solicitor to my radiator.
They were like, that's okay. A lot of Raphael supporters are, and they gave me some paperwork. No, none of that happened.
They did not do
that. Don't work. They were like, we know, sir. You want to vote anyway? That's what we do. We're the Democrats.
Don't talk on your podcast.
And
you're a felon,
and they had reptilian eyes, and they blinked sideways at me. But no, I was like, I'm a felon. I almost said I'm a fucking felon, but I didn't want to curse at two ladies at noon.
That would have been a real felon move of you.
Like a Monday. But I wanted to cut the conversation off and get back to resting.
I had only been sleeping for 10 hours. And he calls it. Now, when I broke my leg, I was about 100 miles deep in the woods, and I rode the bike out. This guy calls for a medevac. He has a helicopter come. He didn't even ride it out. And I don't know. I wasn't impressed, but I'm going to do better. I hope.
You frowned on the medevac.
I would also. No, I'm with Woody on this one. Like, I feel like
self-extract.
Yeah. Get the hell out of there, baby.
It's a little embarrassing to call for help. Like, so you want to make sure if you're going to call for help that you need it. Now, there's a fine line there. Don't be laying there in a pool of blood. Like, I don't want to inconvenience anyone.
Right.
Like, you know, call for help. But at the same time, as long as like you can feel your foot, you know, like the blood supply hasn't been cut off. That's the problem that you'd run into, and like blood clots and stuff, you know, from that. And then you die or lose your foot. Stuff like that can happen. If your foot goes numb after a break, then the bad things are happening. You gotta get. I don't know what to do if your foot goes numb. But your foot wasn't numb. It's time to get out of there. And we need a helicopter. You know how much that would have cost?
Probably not.
I wonder.
I would say
insurance probably doesn't cover helicopter rides.
I'm sure you can get insurance for that though.
I have it.
Good.
I'm not
good.
Yeah, I'm not even sure. I paid $24 to like prepay for my helicopter extraction, and I'm like, is this right? Is this really $24? I should fucking fake an injury because I'd like a helicopter ride.
I mean, it's more of mental distress. I'm pretty down.
I'm so lonely. Press my SOS button.
I was imagining helicopter extract insurance to have a $3,000 deductible, but you're telling me it's $25 and you're in the program.
I haven't tested it yet. I don't know.
Hell, let me chip in. I want that 24/7. I'll give them 20. Look,
I'll split it with you, Woody. I'll give you $12 for a
No, you don't have to take me all the way to the hospital. The Dave and Buster's by the hospital is just fine.
Because I think
right here's good. Oh,
they'll charge you $8,000 for a goddamn ambulance. So I bet a helicopter coming out into the wilderness, fuel. I think I was paying $6. I didn't have to pay it, but I think one time we had a helicopter and it was like $600 an hour for just like some of the basic shit, and it was just a little R-44 or whatever, like you know, like not a rescue helicopter, probably not the kind equipped for that. So I'm guessing that's a $50,000 venture if you don't pay your $24.
Zach says it's on average $25,000. I've heard of people paying $47,000.
Yeah.
Well, it's worth staying alive. Yeah.
Oh yeah, if it's your life.
I'm going to be a little more careful this time.
Finger.
Yeah.
Be more careful. You'll make it back in time for
you're bringing a helmet this time, right?
Yes, yes. This time helmet. I also brought
Good.
better boots. My boots are. I have it right here.
Barefoot motorcycling. It's a terrible idea. I try to talk him out of it.
Barefoot driving's a bad idea.
I like barefoot driving.
Do you?
Yeah, I get my toes involved.
I feel
Some
like that was something that like my dad must have
Dirt bike
imprinted on me.
boots.
Like, you do not drive barefoot.
I mean, if I had a wreck, it could
Those are cool. Those are very Judge Dredd.
They are.
Fashion statement.
Yeah, I like those. Do you have anything lined up? Like our idea, like, oh, on the way there, you stop and see this monument, or you see this park, or nothing like that.
I'm
He's in a hurry. He's got to get home for Christmas.
That's the
Yes.
issue. I have to get home for Christmas, and it's a little tight. Like I would love to take more dirt roads here to see more places,